Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Tuesday, July 25th, 2023. Stand up for your country. Well, there are no summer news days that are slow anymore. Used to be, I remember summer, midsummer, not that much happened. And now, political turmoil in America pretty much at an all-time high. The leading Republican candidate for president, Donald Trump, bogged down in legal matters, some of which are driven by Democrats, and the leading candidate for the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, the president, is in serious trouble over allegations of financial fraud. And Mr. Biden, once again, is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So his story is changing. The president's story is changing. You remember, over and over and over, I never discussed any business dealings with my son Hunter. Okay? Well, I'll give you one example. This happened October 10th, 2019. Go.
I don't discuss business with my son. I didn't know that was the case when in fact I found out after the fact. And because I don't discuss things with my son or my family, because I don't want to have any knowledge of any, I don't want to be accused of, well, you talk with your son or you talk with your whomever.
Well, now, a guy named Devin Archer, Hunter Biden's partner and was involved with Burisma in Ukraine, is set to testify in front of the House Oversight Committee on Monday. So Archer certainly knows whether President Biden discussed business with his son. So the Biden administration has changed the narrative. Okay? Roll the tape.
Curious if the White House and the president still stand behind his comment that he's never been involved and has never even spoken to his son about his business.
So I've been asked this question a million times. The answer is not going to change. The answer remains the same. The president was never in business with his son. I just don't have anything else to add.
Oh, isn't that a never in business? Not never discussed anymore. She's answered it a million times. She didn't have any. She changes it. You know, this is just deceit, absolute deceit. How can that woman get up in the morning when she's lying to 35 million Americans? And she knows. They know what they're doing. They also know New York Times is going to cover it. Nope. Washington Post not covering it. However, today on the New York Times website, because I have my producers monitoring all this, a guy named Peter Baker, who covers Washington politics, did point out, finally, okay, it wasn't in the paper, that, hey, this may not stack up. Everybody knows this is a ruse. Okay, and here's what we also know. That Hunter Biden and his Uncle Jim took between $17 and $30 million from foreign concerns, foreign operations, for nothing. Nothing. That's what we know. Joe Biden didn't know anything about that? That's stacked to you? Yesterday, we went over the tax return that President Biden released for 2017, where he somehow got $10 million. 3 years later, he and Jill got $600,000. So it went from $10 million gross to $600,000. How does that happen? This is rotten, okay? Doesn't take Sherlock Holmes. So now, what they're trying to do at the White House is just run out the clock until summer vacation, which begins for Congress next Thursday. Remember, the Justice Department isn't investigating any of this. The corrupt Merrick Garland crew, they're not going to do anything. They'll get Trump on everything. They'll investigate Trump for jaywalking or anything. But they won't look at anything about Hunter Biden or his father, Joe. So it's Congress that has to do this, but Congress is taking 5 weeks off. So the Biden administration just wants to get to next Thursday, all right? But they got this Devin Archer on Monday, which is going to be pretty big, and tomorrow they got the humiliation of Hunter Biden making his plea in Wilmington, Delaware. I think the plea is going to be accepted by the judge, and Hunter Biden get probation for dodging taxes, big taxes, more than $1 million, for 2 years, and then carrying a gun when he was a drug addict. And that'll be expunged, the gun thing. That's what I think is going to happen tomorrow. And then I will see if Joe is still proud of his son. I'm sure he is. I am proud. Proud. Hunter. Greatest guy. And that's a memo. Now, we have a separate action by the Speaker of the House. So you remember how Nancy Pelosi tortured President Trump. She tortured him, all right, every blanking day. Well, now the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, is doing the same thing to Biden. Roll McCarthy.
This is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, which provides Congress the strongest power to get the rest of the knowledge and information needed. Because this president has also used something we have not seen since Richard Nixon, used the weaponization of government to benefit his family and deny Congress the ability to have the oversight.
Okay. So McCarthy looks... And he has to. He has to take it as far as he can take it. So will Joe Biden be impeached? A lot of it depends on what this guy Archer says on Monday. If Archer under oath, he's not public, remember, it's a closed situation, but he's still under oath. And every word is going to be written down. He's going to have to sign it. If under oath he says, yeah, Joe was in a lot of these meetings with Hunter and me where we were getting money from Burisma or Romania or China, wherever it may be, the odds of Joe Biden being impeached on that testimony are very large. Not going to be convicted, we all know that. But as the Democratic Party tried to diminish Donald Trump with impeachment twice, I would assume that Joe Biden's going to go into the election cycle in an impeachment mode. And Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, absolutely could be impeached, because there's just a towering amount of evidence that he won't investigate anything, that the fix was in, that he blocked stuff, Garland. Now, the media, of course, don't want any part. This is such a fabulous story. And I don't mean fabulous because certain people might get hurt. I mean, this is just fascinating political story. Alleged corruption at the highest level. You think every journalist in the country would just be panting over this like they were to get Richard Nixon in Watergate. No! Roll a tape on CBS.
I want to ask you about one involving the president's son, Hunter Biden, who's going to appear in court this week to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges and will enter into an agreement that could avert conviction on a gun-related charge. The deal has infuriated many congressional Republicans who are holding their own hearings. And I wonder, after this plea happens, if you would advise your party to move on.
No, I wouldn't, Margaret, and here's why. The conduct here by the U.S. Attorney in Delaware and by the Justice Department just can't be justified.
There's a good answer by Christie. But Margaret Brennan, she's able to move on. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. You know, I don't want any of this Hunter Biden stuff. It's over. It's really, for me, somebody who came up and was in journalism school during Watergate, this is just shocking. I know it doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people in America now, but boy, to me, crazy. All right, so Hunter will be in Wilmington tomorrow. The judge is Mary Ellen Norica. He'll enter his plea that he dodged or failed to pay at least $1.5 million in income, 2017 and 18, and that he was toting a handgun around when he was addicted to cocaine. He's likely, as I said, to get probation on these charges. We will be on this story tomorrow. It'll be a dog and pony show, that's for sure. So that's what's happening. President Biden today's schedule, he is signing a proclamation to establish the Emmett Till and Mamie Till Mobley National Monument in Illinois and Mississippi. So to refresh your memory, Emmett Till was executed at the age of 14 in 1955. Some people in Mississippi said he bothered a white woman. They kidnapped him, tortured him, and then lynched him. I write about this extensively in my book, Killing Kennedy. If you want to know everything about this case, that's where you go. Okay? So I'm glad that President Biden is signing that proclamation to establish the monument. Emmett Till was an American, and he was executed for nothing because the woman that he was allegedly bothering, Carolyn Bryant, recanted her entire story. Again, Killing Kennedy has all of this. Donald Trump has declined to appear in D.C. before a January 6th grand jury. This is Jack Smith's special counsel. They're trying to get Trump on fomenting rebellion or undermining the Constitution, whatever it may be, is a grand jury. Trump would not be allowed a lawyer if he testified in front of that grand jury, so nobody does that. So it would be Smith and his guys beating the hell out of Trump, hoping he says something that isn't true so they can get him on that. So Trump's not doing it. But because he doesn't show up, the grand jury, and this is the way our system works, it's pretty corrupt in my opinion, will indict him on whatever Smith wants them to indict him on. So that's going to happen, and that'll probably happen next week, I would assume. It's going to happen fast. Try to take the heat off President Biden. Let's get on the border. Terror watch list people. This is an amazing stat. So far this year, 143 illegal migrants on the terror watch list have been arrested. Okay, so under Donald Trump's presidency, 4 years, 14 individuals on a terror watch list were arrested at the border. 14 in 4 years. Under Biden, 2 years, 114 on the terror watch list. That's the open border. Okay, and if 114 have been arrested, that means 500 got in. So this open border thing, this is fentanyl, drug deaths, cartel empowerment. It's just unbelievable. This one policy alone should disqualify Joe Biden from ever running for president again. But since a lot of Americans have no, but 14, 4 years Trump, 114, 2 years Biden. So the Justice Department is suing the state of Texas because Texas put a barrier in the Rio Grande River, a floating barrier. And the Justice Department, that's Merrick Garland, says you can't do that because the federal government is in charge of the border and the state of Texas cannot impede anything down there. So that will go to court. Okay. Everybody knows Chuck Norris. He's not just an action star in the movies. He's a vet, family man, big on health. Now, Chuck has spent decades of his life trying every supplement out there. Most did nothing, but a few provided dramatic changes. So Chuck Norris put them together into a drink called Morning Kick. By adding Morning Kick to his diet, Chuck says he feels better at the age of 83 than he has in years. Morning Kick combines Chuck Norris's favorite supplements into one great tasting daily drink. It's got probiotics for weight loss, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for your muscles and joints, as well as several powerful anti-aging supplements. You'll end up with more energy, better digestion, and you'll think more clearly and feel younger. Visit mymorningkick.com/first. That's mymorningkick.com/first. Remember, all individuals are unique, so your results can and will vary. All right, let's do the mail here. We got Mike. Hey, Bill, I just finished watching your special on the Biden family. I have one question. You say there's no evidence of corruption that would overturn the 2020 election. How about the fact that it is now known the FBI colluded with social media and mainstream media to block the Hunter Biden laptop story? That's not the same thing. That's media corruption, not voting machine corruption. So it's totally different. Brad Sadler, a Box Elder, South Dakota. Bill, you said people believe what they want to believe when it comes to the 2020 election. Well, I don't want to believe the election was rigged, but I also don't want to believe more people voted for Joe Biden. They did. Joe Biden got more popular votes. Just California and New York, landslides, and the same thing happened with Hillary Clinton, overwhelmed the rest of the country. See, Texas and Florida, the other big states, they're much closer. California and New York, it's like 8-1. Biden won the popular vote. That's why we have the electoral system here. Fernando, concierge member, thank you, Fernando. Isn't the elephant in the room the actual fake LLCs created with no other purpose than to receive money for the Bidens? No product, no service, no nothing. Well, I don't know about any elephants in any room, but that banking sure is suspicious, Fernando. Mo Giger, Vienna, Virginia. If compelling evidence arises that Biden did traitorous things for money from China, can he still be on the ticket? Yeah. Yeah. And so can Trump. They convict Trump of something, he can still run. Nothing in the Constitution that bans people from running, even if they get into legal trouble. Rob Cunliffe, Westfield, New Jersey. Bill, do you expect anything to come from the recently announced Devin Archer testimony? Yeah, I do. We'll see, but I do expect some damaging stuff, and so does the Biden White House, by the way. They wouldn't have changed their story if they didn't. Patricia Yashenko, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I enjoyed the live special. I've been a premium member from the beginning. This is another example why it pays to be a member. Keep up the excellent work. Well, yeah, I mean, we keep the membership fees low. We give you as much product as we can, Patty, and I really appreciate you being a premium member. John Reinmiller, Bixby, Oklahoma. U.S. Constitution gives powers to the executive branch to run the country and enforce the laws. Both political parties seem to utilize the presidential elective order to advance their agendas. Yeah, but it's in the Constitution, and it's not coming out. Executive orders are here to stay. But they do use to advance political things, no doubt about it. Collins Ferguson, Texarkana, Arkansas. Question, why did it take so long for states to be readmitted to the Union after the Civil War? We did that in This Day in History yesterday. Because Union troops occupied all the Confederate states. And Union politicians ran those states. Because many of them were devastated. The infrastructure was destroyed. People just didn't have enough to eat. There was no way to maintain a democracy in that kind of a condition. It took years to build it up, and once it was built up, they applied for readmission, and they were granted. Carol, concierge member. Bill, you frequently disparage movies. I attended 2 films this week. Yesterday, I saw a Christopher Nolan movie, Oppenheimer. Fantastic. 3 hours, 15 minutes. Ooh. I heard good things about Oppenheimer. I like that Cillian Murphy guy. Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor. I'll see it. I don't know when I'm going to have time, but I will. But remember, I researched Killing the Rising Sun along with Dugard. And I'm going to be sitting there in the theater going, yeah, but you should have said this. And then they'll throw me out. Okay, Killing the Witches coming out. Another well-researched book. September 26th, pre-order. You'll get it first. You're going to love this book. This book will tell you and teach you a lot of things. And at the end, it's really disturbing. Because the end is contemporary possession, demon possession. O'Reilly, Sid Rosenberg from WABC, doing a live show at the Paramount Theater in Huntington on October 27th. About 30% sold out after one-day pre-sale. So if you want to see us, go to BillO'Reilly.com. We'll set you up, but this show is going to sell out. It's going to be a blast. It's a New York state of mind, as we're calling it, but anybody can enjoy this. If you haven't heard me with Rosenberg on Thursdays on WABC at 8:40, that is a must listen. We're going to have a great time. Word of the day, no dolosity, D-O-L-O-S-I-T-Y, no dolosity. Back with final thought in a moment. The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year, stocks dropped a whopping 20%. 2023 could be worse. You are right to be worried. So call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I've been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers and have the highest rating in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201. That's 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. All right, final thought of the day. So yesterday was insane. I had no time to even eat. Got a little cereal in the morning, and then at 6 o'clock, I look at the clock. All right. So I ran over to a local Subway place, and I wanted to get a tuna sub with a little provolone cheese and lettuce, right? Pretty simple order. I got a big one. I'm hungry. I didn't eat all day. So the local Subway shop is owned by a family from Bangladesh. And I like that. They're hardworking. They come to America. They want to succeed. But the daughter is taking my order, and she didn't speak English. And whatever she says, nobody can understand her. I'm going, does anybody understand? No. And she's asking me questions about my order. And all I'm doing is going, tuna, pointing to the tuna, okay? Large bread, pointing to the bread. Provolone, pointing to it because I have the ingredients out. And lettuce, just put it on the thing. It took me about 8 minutes to get this sandwich. So I'm thinking to myself, do I get angry? What do I do? Am I frustrated? Now, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I probably would have said, all right, get me somebody else. But I didn't. I feel sorry for her. Yeah, the tuna sandwich I wanted, I was hungry, but it was more important that she survive with her dignity. I finally got the sandwich, okay? I almost went around and made it myself. It's not a hard deal to do. So the reason I'm telling you all this is when you're in that situation, and I'm sure you will be, just take a step back and go, is it worth it? All right? And usually the answer is no. Final thought. Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.